everyone, and welcome to the Literacy Center Math tutorial. This is Meghna, and today we are going to learn how to solve word problems, and this is part 1. So let's begin. So first of all, let's talk about what the word problems are, and I'm going to ask you a question here. Have you ever seen a question like this one in long sentences with lot of words in it? Or maybe this one? I know, this type of questions looks like a puzzle and it can be very confusing, but not to worry about because we know all the tricks and strategies that can be used to solve such type of questions. How can you define word problems? Word problems are nothing but a simple math exercises where problem is presented as text rather than mathematical format using signs and symbols. For example, using signs like plus sign, negative sign, multiplication sign or division sign. Let's see how it can be. For example, if I give you some math exercise like this, 7 plus 5. So what I'm asking you to do here? I'm actually asking you to add these two numbers, right? Let's take another example. 7 minus 5. What I'm asking you to do here? I'm asking you to subtract these two numbers. Similarly, I can ask you to multiply or divide any numbers, right? Using multiplication sign or division. Now I want you to brainstorm a bit. Well, I give you an exercise written as 7 plus 5. What I was asking you to do? I was asking you to add these two numbers, right? Now this is interesting. What would you think if I give you the same exercise written like this? Debbie has 7 comic books. John has 5 comic books. How many comic books do they have all together? Tricky, isn't it? After seeing these examples, you may have figured it out by now that we need to use some straightforward strategies that can be best to solve these type of questions. So when you see some problems or questions like this, Debbie has 7 comic books, John has 5 comic books. How many comic books do they have all together? So when you see some questions like this, to solve these questions, we can make an attack plan that we can use to solve this. And what would be this plan? Let's explore. To solve this type of questions, the first step would be read the problem and think, what is this problem about? So can you read the problem with me? Debbie has 7 comic books. John has 5 comic books. How many comic books do they have all together? So can you tell me what is this problem about? I think this problem is all about the number of comic books, right? Let's move forward. Reread the problem and think, what is this problem asking? So can you reread the problem again and tell me what is the problem asking? When you will read this problem one more time, you will be able to figure it out that this problem is asking how many comic books do they have all together. Let's move ahead. Now you need to think, how can we solve this? So when you read this question one more time, you will be able to see some important words here. So when you see a word altogether, what does that mean? When you read the question, you will see Debbie has 7 comic books, John has 5 comic books. How many comic books do they have altogether? So altogether means in total. So the problem asking you to find the total number of comic books they have together, right? So when you need to find out this altogether number, we need to add the numbers here, right? Let's move ahead. What operation should I use? Now you need to think, what operation should I use here to solve this problem? So you know that when you need to add the numbers, what operation you use? Addition, right? So let's move ahead and make a mathematical expression for this word problem. So here, what we're gonna do now? We are going to add 7 to 5. 7 plus 5, and that will be our answer. So when you will add 7 and 5, you will get the number 12. 7 plus 5 is equals 12. So 12 would be our answer. Now you need to check your answer and think, does my answer make sense? Okay, this is a little tricky here, but very easy. Now we'll go back to our question. Debbie has 7 comic books. John has 5 comic books. How many comic books do they have altogether? An answer would be 12 comic books they have altogether, right? Is my math correct? Now you need to see or check whether you have done your addition correctly or not. So can you try again? Can you add 7 plus 5 and see what would be your answer? And that answer, whether it is correct or incorrect, right? So here, our answer, what we got here, is correct. After solving this first problem, can we solve the second one now using the same strategy? Let's try this together. Our next question is, Sarah brought 12 pencils. 2 of them broke, so she threw them away. How many pencils she have now? Let's follow our attack plan again. And according to our attack plan, our first step would be read the problem and find out what is this problem about. So I think this problem is all about the number of pencils. Let's move ahead to our next step. In the next step, we need to reread the problem and think, what is the problem asking? So let's reread the problem one more time. Sarah brought 12 pencils. 2 of them broke, so she threw them away. How many pencils she have now? So this problem is asking you to find out how many pencils she have now after throwing away 2 broken pencils. In the next step, we need to figure out the best way to solve this problem. So, when you reread the question one more time, you will be able to say, Sarah brought 12 pencils and threw away 2. And we can solve this problem by finding out the number of pencils left with her now, right? So in the next step, we will try to understand what operation can we use to solve this. So we need to perform subtraction here. We need to take away 2 from 12. So when you will write this in a mathematical expression, what would it look like? Our problem now looks like this, 12 minus 2. And can you solve this? Can you take away 2 from 12? When you solve this, you will get the answer 10. And 10 is our answer to this problem. Does this answer make sense? Let's check it out. Sarah brought 12 pencils. 2 of them broke, so she threw them away. And now she has 10 pencils left with her. Is your math correct? Just check it out one more time. Take away 2 from 12. Your answer is 10. Yay! We did it! So in this tutorial, we tried to understand some strategies and tricks to solve the simple math problems. This was the part 1, and in the part 2, we will try to understand more strategies or more easiest way to solve these. If you have any questions or if you need any help, you can text us or email us and we will get back to you. Thank you.